Hi guys, let me make a clarification about yesterday's video about living on Social Security and retirement. A couple of things. Before I even made that video, my sister had sent me a meme about worrying, and I had already deleted it, so I had to draw it for you. This is what it was. The big circle is what I worry about every day. The little green circle here is what could actually happen. And then the little bitty tiny red circle is what actually came to pass out of all the things I worry about. Yeah, that's true. Uh, I do worry daily about something happened to the amount of my Social Security check. They're talking about the country's debt today, and the first thing they mentioned was Social Security. I worry about my retirement check. What if the agency that is in charge of my retirement money and sends me my check, what if they go belly up? I remember Enron too clearly. I felt so horrible when all those people lost their retirement after they had worked for years. Those two things are a big worry for me because that's my livelihood for right now. And I do worry daily about when the day comes, or if the day comes, when my Social Security and my retirement just simply won't be enough for me to afford an apartment and food, because then I'm going to need to move into a vehicle so I can afford food. You see, there may come a day when I can't afford everything. And right now, I do feel like I live like a queen. I don't know who originated this statement. I originally heard it years ago on Dr. Phil. And I'm so grateful that I did hear it, because it has formed my attitude about a lot of things. And I don't know who first said this. I don't know if the percentages are true, but true enough for me. If you have food in your fridge, yes, I do, clothes on your back, plenty of clothing, a roof over your head, a very nice one, and a place to sleep, I've got a good bed, you are richer than 75% of the world. If you have money in the bank, I do. By the end of the month, it'll be gone, but I have some right now. Some money in your wallet, I actually do. And some spare change, yep. You are among the 8% of the world's wealthy. If you have $1 in the bank, if you have $1 in your wallet, if you have 39 cents in change, you are among the richest 8% of the people on this planet. Heck yeah, I live like a queen. I'd honestly do. And if I someday end up having to buy a vehicle and live in that, I'll still be living like a queen. I love that quote. Thank you, Dr. Phil, for saying that on some show I saw years ago. I hardly ever watch Dr. Phil. Just every blue moon, I'll think, oh, I should catch Dr. Phil today, and it's usually something I need to hear. Funny how that works, huh? Then, next, with my current Social Security, after that great raise, and my retirement check, I'm doing fine. I do not want for anything. I do not have food insecurity. Besides that, I get a little money from YouTube now. Some people, over the 3 years I've been on YouTube, Because at first I made a video about living on Social Security. In fact, I think I made 3 or 4. They're in my playlist. But over the years, numerous times, people have asked me if I can get food stamps. I just barely don't qualify for food stamps. But that's okay. I don't need them. I know how to spend my money. I know how to budget. And I know it's more important for me to have, peanut butter and jelly and bread in the house than to go have a hamburger at McDonald's or something. I don't need food stamps. But if the time comes when I do qualify for them, dang straight I'm going to go apply for them. Toby, no barking. No barking. It's the time of day when people are coming home and they hear people. Once I qualify for them, yes, I will take them. Several people have asked, do I have a food bank in my town? I mean, over the last 3 years, that has been asked of me over and over. Yes, Amarillo has a wonderful food bank, and we have wonderful businesses here that contribute to it, and wonderful farmers. There's one farmer here that every year grows a crop of corn. The first 10% of his crop, the first 10% he gives to the food bank. That just makes me want to cry that there's a man that good. But yes, we have food banks. Multiple churches all over town have food pantries. There are a couple of places that have little food pantries in their front yard. Like they have a wooden box on a pole and it says, if you need something, take something. And they have canned goods in there. I know of several of those around town. There are churches that have a cafe where on certain nights they cook meals and families are invited to come eat at no cost to them. Just come to their cafe and eat. One of our schools in the very poorest part of town, I know, does the same thing. They call it Kids Cafe. Families can come at lunch and eat with their kids. They can come on, I don't know how many nights a week it is, but there's a night or 2 or 3, I don't know, during the week when families are invited to come to Kids Cafe and have something to eat. I'm gonna bawl. Where I live, there is a lot of help. And if I really needed it, I would accept it. But I am a long way from needing help. I really am. I kicked the tripod. I know how to budget my money. I know how to live frugally. I am not perfect at it. I'm not the best at it, but I get by really, really good on what I've got. So don't worry about me. That was not the focus of yesterday's video, that, oh, poor me, I don't have enough to live off of and I have food insecurity. And no, I don't. Look at the size of me. Do I look like I have food insecurity? But I appreciate you being concerned for me. I appreciate you being concerned for me. But I just want you to know I'm fine. I am just fine. I worry that there will come a day when I won't be just fine, but I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. And just a second, I threw this on the floor. This is really the truth. I worry about a lot of things. Only some of those could even be a possibility, probably. This little tiny dot is what might actually come to pass. And meanwhile, I've worried and worried and worried. I need to stop worrying. But I'm the kind of person that I have to have a plan B. So my plan B right now is, oh heavens, if it comes to a day when I can't afford the apartment and food, hopefully I will be able to buy a vehicle to live in, cheaper than my rent and utilities. And I will be able to live in a vehicle. Last night, I watch people, women all the time that live in vehicles, mostly senior citizens. I don't like that term. Senior citizen sounds old. In 12 months, I'll be 70, but I don't feel like I'm an old senior citizen. But anyway, I digress. Last night, I watched this lady who is 84 years old and lives in a van and is happy as a lark. I really watch those and pay attention to how they're doing it, because that's my plan B. I may someday need that knowledge. But today, I'm fine. Thank you for worrying over me. Honestly, thank you for worrying over me. Now, here comes my real video for today. Hello, people. How are you doing today? I am doing really good. This is Carol. My video today is going to be what we had for lunch. We made this cherry fluff salad dessert thing. We loved it. Well, Taylor didn't, and she's the one that wanted something out of cherry. But I did. We ate it with graham crackers. Here's the recipe. Okay, I've got a lot going on here. We're making chicken tortilla soup in the crock pot. There's our shredded chicken. I'm also making that cherry dessert salad thing. It called for crushed pineapple. I just had whole pineapple, so I'm going to put it in this little chopper thing and chop it up and hope it doesn't just turn to pineapple juice. Be right back. Okay, that crushed that up really good. I've still got a bunch more over here to do, but I'm going to put it in this bowl. What this recipe is called Grandma's Cherry Fluff. And I found it at theseoldcookbooks.com on Pinterest. You put in a 15-ounce can of cherry pie filling, 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk, 1 cup chopped pecans. I don't do nuts, so I'm not doing that. 20 ounces of crushed pineapple drained, and 8 ounces of Cool Whip. Mix it all up, put it in the fridge for 2 hours, and that's it. Okay, again, this is called Grandma's Cherry Fluff from theseoldcookbooks.com. This recipe was all over Pinterest, but a lot of places it was called Junkyard something. I didn't want to make something called Junkyard. It's the same recipe, but I like this name better. Anyway, you just need a can of cherry pie filling. I've got Great Value. I've got Great Value sweetened condensed milk. And I've got Great Value whipped topping. I'm just going to stir it all up, stick it in the fridge. This is what our cherry, I forgot what it's called, looks like after it's stirred up. I tasted it. It's really good. The directions said cover and chill for 2 hours before serving. At first, we ate it with a spoon. But then we thought, man, this would be really good with graham crackers. So Casey had some up at her apartment. She ran and got, and yes, that was delicious to dip our graham crackers in it. Sorry. But this made a bunch. Do you think I could freeze part of that and it'd be okay? Normally, I don't make these kind of sweet things like this. We've always had one recipe of something kind of similar that we make at Thanksgiving called pink stuff, but that's the only time of the year that we would make it. But after I tried my sister's dreamsicle recipe, Taylor wanted something with cherries, and ironically, she didn't like this because it had the sweetened condensed milk in it. Casey and Taylor are going to make pinwheels. For that, you need some bacon. I was preparing a cookie sheet to bake my bacon in the oven. That's how I like to do it, so it gets good and crispy. And I touched a hot burner. Okay, I was getting ready to cook bacon on this cookie sheet, and I was lining it with the foil. This burner back here, I had just sauteed onion and jalapeno, and that burner's hot. I was pushing this down here and touched that hot burner with my fingertips. So I put mustard on it. That's an old folk remedy. I couldn't think of the word. You put mustard on it, rub it in, and it'll help stop the burn. I didn't need that much mustard. Taylor was helping me put the mustard on my fingertips. We kind of got it all over my hand. But I mean, I had been sauteing onion and jalapeno on that burner, had just taken that pan off when I put the cookie sheet down, and as I was smoothing the aluminum foil out, my fingers touched that hot element and burned really bad. I mean, it didn't make blisters or anything, but man, that thing was hot. And after I put the mustard on there and left it on there 5 minutes or so, washed it off, no more burn. Besides our chicken tortilla soup, we're going to have pinwheels. This is cream cheese that was softened, 6 strips of bacon. That was an 8-ounce package. 6 strips of bacon crumbled up. Looks like Casey used 3/4 a can of green chilies and put in grated cheddar cheese. We don't measure, we just put it in there till it looks right. And then you spread this over a flour tortilla generously, roll it up tightly, wrap that in foil, refrigerate for 30 minutes, then slice them in 1-inch slices. We dip, we dip ours in picante sauce. Another thing before I go, I'm trying to answer your questions. A couple of you asked, why don't I live in a 1-bedroom apartment? This whole system with the voucher system is weird. I'll get to that. And why I don't live with Casey. Well, if Casey and I were to live together here at this low-income complex, we would have to sign a new lease. They would consider both our incomes, and then we wouldn't qualify to live here. Casey is on disability, and she gets HUD assistance to help pay for her rent. If she moved in with me, she would lose that HUD. HUD has a 3-year waiting list. Because their waiting list is so long, they don't even let people add their name to the waiting list anymore. If Casey ever gave up that HUD, she'd never get it back again. She can live with me, and I can help support her. And she can help me. We can split everything in half, But in 12 months, I'm going to be 70. My mother died when she was 72. That sticks in my mind. Or I could get run over by a bus, What happens to me, what happens to Casey if something happens to me and I'm no longer here? I don't want her in that situation. She has several serious medical problems. She needs to be on disability. She's been on disability a long time. She needs that HUD assistance, and I will not let her give it up. Because somebody else might help support her, including me. No. The 1-bedroom situation, here's how it works. I can get on the waiting list for a 1-bedroom. The waiting list is, the longest list here is for 1-bedroom. So I don't know what it is. At one time it was over a year waiting list. I don't know what it is right now. But I could put myself on the waiting list. For me to get a 1-bedroom, I can't break one lease to go make another lease here. So I would have to wait until my name came up on the list for a 1-bedroom, and it would have to be exactly at the time that this lease ends. That's pretty improbable. They won't let you just switch. There was a lady on the 3rd floor above me that she and her adult son lived together while he was in college. And so they based her rent on both their incomes, because he had a job, and he was a college student. They based her rent on the sum of their incomes. Well, last summer he moved out. And so she called the office and told them that she no longer had his income. She no longer wanted him to be on her lease, and she didn't have access to his income to help pay the rent. And they told her, too bad, you've signed the lease, and you get your paying at that level, and that's the level you'll be at. Does that sound right? No. And so she moved out to a cheaper place because she couldn't pay the rent they were charging her when two incomes were involved. After he left, she couldn't, he graduated from college and went on his merry way to his own life, and she couldn't pay the rent anymore. They didn't say, "Oh well, we'll adjust your lease." No, they said, "You got it. That's what you signed that you would pay, and that's what you're going to pay." It's a complicated system. It's just complicated, but just know I'm doing the best I can, and I do honestly appreciate you worrying about me, and I appreciate you making suggestions. But let me tell you, I've been through everything. I'm at the best place I could possibly be. Okay, I'm going to leave now. I'll have to tell you about the soup we made. I'll have to do that for a video tomorrow because this one's already too long. Bye. Thumbs up. Leave me a comment. See you tomorrow.